Thank you very much, Mr. Paul. Distinguished delegates, colleagues and friends, on 7th March 2025, Justice for All International, acting as a legal representative of the Liberation of Scotland, formally submitted an advance notice of petition to the United Nations Special Committee on Decolonization, the well-known C24. This act was not simply symbolic. It was a legal and procedural breakthrough that has, for the first time, brought Scotland's case for the decolonization into the international legal framework designed to remedy colonial domination. Our role at GPTI has been to provide the necessary legal foundation, strategy, diplomatic engagement to ensure that Scotland's liberation movement is equipped to navigate the complexities of the UN system. We have worked hand in hand with Liberation Scotland and its civic partner Salva, ensuring that their case is framed not only historically and politically, but also legally, within the binding norms of international law. Our petition rests squarely on the United Nations General Assembly resolutions 1514, 1541, 1654, the same resolutions that guided dozens of people across the world to independence in the second half of the 20th century. In framing this petition, it is essential to underline that international law does not rest its guarantees upon the abstract concept of nations, but upon the concrete reality of peoples. Article 1, paragraph 2 of the United Nations Charter enshrines as a fundamental purpose the principle of equal rights and self-determination of peoples. Resolution 1514 declares that all peoples have the right to self-determination, while Resolution 1541 sets out the conditions under which a people may be recognized as non-self-governed. The emphasis on people reflects the recognition that the sovereignty lies not in governments or imposed constitutional arrangements, but in communities bound by shared identity, territory, cultural continuity. It is therefore the Scottish people, not the devolved administration, are the rightful bearers of the claim to self-determination. The decolonization process exists precisely to safeguard their rights when withheld by an administering power. Our work has not ended with the submission of the advance notice of petition. In June this year, GPTI, together with the Liberation of Scotland, supported by our dear colleagues from the International Pro Bono Legal Service Association, engaged directly with the member states in New York during the C24 session. Through Scotland, though Scotland is not yet formally listed as a non-self-governing territory, we began the vital work of building diplomatic alliances, briefing states who themselves once stood before this committee, and reminding them that Scotland's struggle is a part of the unfinished global struggle of self-determination. The UN process in which GPTI is engaged complements rather than substitutes the civic and grassroots work being undertaken in Scotland. Liberation Scotland and Salvo mobilize awareness, foster public understanding, and sustain democratic will of Scottish people, while GPTI translates that will into the legal and procedural framework of the United Nations. These efforts are mutually reinforcing. Domestic mobilization ensures legitimacy and participation, while international engagement secures recognition and oversight. Together, they form indivisible process that connects the life reality of Scottish people with the institutional mechanism of international law. In doing so, GPTI has also highlighted the structural realities that mark Scotland as a dependency. The devolved institutions created under the Scotland Act 1998 are revocable at Westminster discretion. As confirmed by the UK Supreme Court in 2022, the framework therefore lacked permanence legal autonomy, and international personality. This entrenches dependency rather than enabling autonomy. Scotland generates between 150 to 200 billion annually through oil, gas, renewable energy, and whiskey export, and from other economic activities and resources. Yet, only a fraction of this wealth is returned via Barnett formula. Between 20 and 24, local councils were forced to sell 1,851 public assets, including schools, care homes, and to cover budget shortfalls caused by Westminster austerity. These are not failures of local governance, but symptoms of fiscal disempowerment. The human rights implications are equally severe. The United Kingdom has not incorporated the International Covenant on Economic, Social and Cultural Rights into domestic law, nor has it ratified its optional protocol. Neither has it ratified the optional protocol to the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights. This leaves the Scottish people without remedies for violations of their right to housing, health, education, cultural life, and for breaches of their civil and political rights. The marginalization of the Scots and Gaelic languages further erodes cultural rights, violating international obligations under Article 15 of International Covenant on Economic, Social and Cultural Rights. Most importantly, by failing to give effect to the common Article 1 of both covenants, which enshrines the right of all peoples to self-determination, the United Kingdom persists in denying the Scottish people their most fundamental right. This combination of economic extraction and denial of remedies reflects not partnership, but subjugation. Colleagues, history teaches us that no colonial power ever willingly conceded to authority. Liberation is won by persistence, by law, and by moral clarity of an oppressed people asserting their rights. JPTI stands as a bridge between Scotland's civic voice and the United Nations system, ensuring that the claim is not heard as a political aspiration but as a lawful right. By invoking the same standards applied in Africa, Asia, the Caribbean, and the Pacific, we demonstrate that Scotland's case is neither novel nor exceptional, but part of the continuing and unfinished work of decolonization. Scotland's position is not a constitutional anomaly to be managed domestically, but a continuing violation of international law. The denial of effective governance, economic extraction, historical annexation, and systematic erosion of rights all point to one reality. The Scottish people are entitled to decolonization and international protection of their right to self-determination. Decolonization is not a matter of favor, it is a matter of law. Scotland, like so many before it, has waited long enough. Together we will ensure that its rightful place in the international community is restored. Thank you.